Going to bring him back into custody.
Two quick questions. Do we know where he got the hoodie and presumably the razor to shave? Was this at the dairy farm or another break-in?
The hoodie was at the dairy farm. I don't know about the razor.
And then the second question is, we know that in 2021, some people in Phoenixville helped him as he was trying to escape. Is the gentleman that he tried to reach out to one of those people?
I am aware of that information, and I don't want to comment any further on that right now.
I have one more question. Is there any chance, so August 22nd on or about is when he was convicted, and he might have had come in contact with people. Is there any chance upon that conviction and the people he was talking with that he hatched this plan to escape on a certain day? I mean, it looked like he had a little help in the prison getting out. He had that watchdog guy there. But is there any thought that he started this whole process upon the day he was convicted? Like, is there any way to tell his defense attorney, etc.?
I don't know that there's a way to tell that it was that specific day. Do I think he has been trying to plot this? Yes. Do I think he took advantage of an opportunity that presented itself that other inmates told him about from a different inmate escaping that way? Yes, I think he took advantage of that opportunity. But he has any number of opportunities from the time he is convicted or even prior to have contact with his attorney, with family members, and so forth. And so at any point along the way, the plot could be hatched or the plot could be continued as it goes on. At this point, I am not in a position to say that on a specific day that's where it was hatched.
What's your message to those in the community who may be trying to assist him in this, and what kind of charges could they face?
They will be prosecuted vigorously if we can prove that they assisted him. And the types of charges depends on the type of assistance. But we have the district attorney here, and I don't want to speak for her, but I'm certain that she is well prepared to prosecute anyone who assists in any way.
Yes, sir. Do we know anything about where he worked in Chester County prior to the murder in 2021? He seemed to know the area pretty well. And also, President Biden's sister lives in Kennett Township, where Secret Service called in at all.
First, yes, we do have a lot of information on his background, and all of that factors into the overall investigation. Secret Service would be one of many federal partners that has access to information, and certainly anything that might pertain not only to anybody that lives here but visits or so forth. They would have full access to anything that they needed.
And can you tell us, was it mushroom farms or equestrian farms where he worked?
I'm not going to go into all of his background, but we have looked into that. Yes,
What's your level of confidence that you have an idea of where he is right now?
If I knew where he was right now, we would go catch him and bring him back in. What I'm telling you is that I'm confident we will identify where he is. He slipped that perimeter. He got out. We found the vehicle. We found where he abandoned it fairly quickly. I am confident that we will continue aggressively proceeding on this search and this investigation, and we will eventually capture him. I'm not prepared to say that will be today or tomorrow. I don't know, but I hope sooner rather than later.
You have the resources out right now where you found it. Is
Absolutely.
there any confidence that he's in that area? Or
we're still searching. We'll do a thorough search and try and either capture him or eliminate that as a
Just based on what
possibility.
you've learned the last few hours, what did you find inside the van, and why do you believe he may have ditched that area?
I don't have a complete counting of everything that was in the van yet. Quite frankly, I've been busy with a number of other things, but I've got some very talented people that are working on that. Some of the folks back here have been directly involved in those operations. What I would tell you is that we take all of that information and factor that in as we go forward. I would also tell you that one of the reasons that I believe he dumped that vehicle was a lack of fuel.
Do you got any indication if there are any other reports of stolen vehicles in that area where you found that van?
I do not have a report of a stolen vehicle. I anticipate that we will.
Are we still at 400 people searching on the ground, or are we up in the numbers as of right now looking for him?
We're adjusting the numbers as we speak, and again, it's going to be determined by what the conditions require. There is no point in having resources stand around. Conversely, I never want to be in a position where I wish I had more and didn't have them here. So we try and anticipate, and we'll adjust to the needs.
You mentioned that you're still investigating how he was able to breach that perimeter, but have you been able to pinpoint where in the perimeter that he was able to slip through, or general consensus of the area?
I have not been able to conclusively determine that. I have my suspicions where I believe or how I believe that happened.
Did you share that?
But no. But no, because I don't know conclusively. But again, I knew where the weaknesses were, and I think perhaps one of those weaknesses came into play here.
Lieutenant Colonel, at what point does another agency take over if he is in fact spotted across state lines?
At that point, we certainly have all the federal partners here right now. The U.S. Marshals really takes the lead anytime you start crossing state lines, and they're here. They're a huge partner in all of this. We work hand in hand, not only when we're doing these kinds of investigations. We have people assigned to their offices that are deputized right along with their deputy marshals, and that work with them every day of the year. So this will be seamless if it ever does transition across the state line. Right now, there's no indication that that's the case, but if it does, it won't change the investigation much at all. It simply, we would also then simply transition in another state police agency or whatever, whoever the lead investigative entity is in that state.
Senator, what's your message, though, to the community? I mean, they've been watching you guys chase this guy now. This is day 11, a lot of scrutiny coming towards your agency that you let him slip through this perimeter. What do you say to the people that are losing faith in not only the PSP?
Oh, I don't know that
leadership?
people are losing faith. I will tell you that I think people realize we have given this a 100% effort. And as I said earlier, I'm proud of the effort that our people have put forth. I'll take responsibility for it. I lead this effort with them, and I'm proud to do it. I appreciate the support we've gotten from the community. I think the community recognizes that in any kind of a major operation like this, there are simply times things don't go the way you plan. That happens in investigations, it happens in manhunts, it happens in all kinds of things. I've had a long career in law enforcement. Rarely do things happen exactly as I plan. That's why if you're smart, you're planning contingencies and you're ready to adapt to whatever happens. This is a minor setback. We'll get them. It's a matter of time. Yes, sir.
Can you comment on why the sister was arrested?
As was alluded to earlier, there are some immigration issues. Beyond that, I don't have any other comment.
Sorry if you already answered this, but have you interviewed or gotten in touch with the people that helped him in 2021?
As I said earlier, I am aware of that information, but I'm not prepared to discuss what actions we've taken with regard to it.
Two things. We've been getting some tips about a sighting at a church. Can you confirm that?
I don't have.
Going out of a church parking lot.
No, I don't have any information about that.
Any chance he's still in Phoenixville and someone drove that van up there?
Sentenced
Wait,
to
just one
life
second.
in prison. When he is caught, what happens to that sentence? Is there any addition tacked onto it?
He can be charged, and there can be an addition put on. I can tell you that there's already a commitment that he will go directly to a state correctional facility when he is captured, and we'll work through the rest of what occurs at that point.
What's your
depending on
new
circumstances.
perimeter? Are you
I'm
not
sorry.
able to establish a new perimeter?
I'm sorry,
Was
but
there
I
any
need to come back
chance
to.
did anybody see him driving the white van? Or could it have been someone else? And he's in Phoenixville, somebody ditched that van up there. Is that the realm possibility?
No, I'm confident it was him in the van.
Are you even able to establish a perimeter now that he seems to have gone farther?
As I said earlier, a large perimeter isn't the answer in every single investigation or every time or at every point in an investigation. And so we established a small temporary perimeter. We're still holding that in that area while we finish that search. If it's not successful, there's no reason to hold that perimeter. I mentioned to you that there were a number of delays in the reporting of this to us. So, we would look to other opportunities to further the investigation. Perhaps later today, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps the day after, if it still goes on that long, there may be a need for another significant perimeter like we had here. And if so, we will absolutely do that, and we will absolutely do our best to capture him at that time.
So do you know whether he has any means of communication, cell phone or anything like that?
I don't want to offer any opinion on that right now.
How many confirmed sightings were there again?
I've said before, there are varying degrees of confidence. I think it's fair to say 8 or 9 easily.
Sir, so many people were at the Motion Festival yesterday and today, and so many people have expressed how grateful they are to law enforcement coming in, county, state, federal, to keep the community safe, which you have this weekend here in the Kennesaw region. For the people that live here locally, can you give us any insight into where he was hiding specifically overnight? Do we have any evidence of anywhere he might have slept one of these nights as the effort's been going on since prior to Labor Day?
No, there's really not anything I can disclose now.
From
Sir.
Lakeland to Nat Mill, he seems to have gone west about 11 miles. He was behind the wheel, as you point out.
Yes.
He literally ran out of gas. So as you try to kind of make up for any ground lost, where do you think he was going if he was going west?
Well, again, I think he's looking for assistance, and I think he had a reason to do that.
Where would be his next stop? Would he not?
Well, I'm not going to go any further than that, but I think that that's a strong motivator for someone if they're looking for
Quick
assistance.
question about
Yes.
the church that was at Bonnie Gray Road. There were people who said they saw a white van and another car pull out. Have you been able to investigate that?
We have investigated Bonnie Bray. It just wasn't. I didn't realize that's the church. If you're talking about that, there was an incident at Bonnie Bray.
So is that a confirmed or
yes,
credible sighting?
yes. Just it didn't involve. At least the aspect that I saw did not involve the church.
Was there another car involved with that? People had said that there was a white van pulling out with another car involved.
No.
Prior to him going to Phoenixville, was there any law enforcement stationed over by his sister's house before this all happened?
I'm not going to talk about where we have assets at this point, but I think it's very reasonable to think that law enforcement assets were, given the number of people we had assigned to this, very reasonable to think that there were law enforcement assets anywhere that it would have been appropriate to do so.
Can you touch on any of the specific challenges law enforcement is going to be dealing with Cavalcante's potential access to a vehicle?
Well, I mean, certainly he is a very determined individual. And so one of the challenges that we face is if people don't heed our advice, and as we had here, a vehicle unlocked with keys in it, that makes our job more difficult, and it makes it much easier for him to succeed in various aspects of his escape efforts. And so, I go back to, we want to make this as difficult as possible for him. We ask for cooperation in trying to do that.
So there's video associated.
Shortening the perimeter at that time at all?
No, it was absolutely the right thing to do. We can strengthen it as we bring it in. It wasn't a matter of him being outside of the perimeter. He was in there. We had sightings once we had it in there and had the perimeter strengthened. It was simply a matter of you can't guarantee 100% of the time that you can contain somebody with a perimeter of that size even.
So there's video of him and audio of this interaction here that we're looking at the stills of.
Yes.
But you're not releasing it?
Not at this time, no.
But you will release it eventually?
I don't know. That'll be to be determined as we go forward. What we wanted to do was let the public know, really the important thing here was to let the public know what his appearance is right now, and so we took some of the best stills out of that video. The rest of it is not necessarily so important. This is what matters.
But I asked you in the command center the other day, why not just be fully transparent about everything that you know?
I think we've been exceptionally transparent through this investigation, and at some point perhaps I will release the video. This has been a fluid investigation. Most of the people in here probably haven't slept an hour in the last 24 hours, and so my focus isn't on how can I maximize the content that I can push out. It's how do I maximize the content that is necessary to effectively move this investigation forward, and that's what we're trying to do with these. We'll make decisions on the video. There's nothing to hide with the video. It's just it takes more effort and things away from the other investigative steps that we're taking, and so for right now, we hurried up and got some stills ready so that we could release those.
Does he have any cartel or human trafficking gang affiliations, or were you confident to say this is a lone fugitive?
He has had gang affiliations in the past. I wouldn't speculate as to what he's got right now.
Does Mexico become a possibility again?
Oh, we've never discounted that, and not just Mexico, we've never discounted that any international escape effort shouldn't be considered. Those are always things that have been taken into account right from the very start. Again, when I talked about having contingency planning, we're trying to make sure that that can't happen.
Is it overstating it to say that you don't know where he is right now? Generally, specifically, that he's...
No. Do I know a specific spot where he is right now? No. Do I think generally I have an idea where he is? Probably, but not specifically enough that I could say let's put a hard perimeter up right now.
That general area is East End.
Yes.
So when he's sentenced to prison, why was he not deported back to his own country? Why was a legal immigrant put into jail here and we're going to pay for him to do there for the rest of his life?
Well, ma'am, that's not a decision that I have any input or anything else about. I can just tell you that those decisions are made by judges and others in the judicial system.
Do you still have the same order, and forgive me for not phrasing it correctly, but the order to shoot on site for your troopers?
I have still left that order stand that deadly force is authorized if he is not actively surrendering.
And
yes.
for those agencies that are under the Department of Justice umbrella?
They have their own use of force rules.
And what are they in this situation?
I would let them speak for themselves about that.
Could you comment on where exactly you believe he shaved in an effort to change his appearance to avoid capture?
No, I really can't offer an opinion on where he shaved.
We're kind of close to an area with some Amish communities. Have authorities been in touch with them?
We have relied on our partners in local government, at county government levels, through the emergency management folks. We're trying to do our very best, as appropriate, to get information out to each of those communities. Certainly, if we thought there was a specific threat in the Amish community, we would directly focus our efforts there, but we're trying to keep everyone as informed as is reasonable. Yes, sir.
And how are you doing? How's morale with everybody?
You know, morale is good. There are people have heard me say this in the command post since the very beginning. I've done this many times. Not always to this size and extent, but we've done these so many times. It's a roller coaster. There are ups and downs. There always are. And all of a sudden, it'll be resolved, and there he is. The important thing is, hopefully we don't get anyone in the community hurt, and we don't get any of our people hurt, and we bring this to a successful conclusion. It'll happen.
Just wanted one more point of clarification about the dairy farm.
Yes.
You were saying the keys were still in the van, the family was inside working, but they didn't notice their van had...
No, the family wasn't inside working. They were sleeping. It was overnight.
Okay. And then so they didn't notice that their van was missing until law enforcement notified them?
Correct.
Okay.
In the early morning hours this morning. Okay. All right. Again, I thank you all. We'll let you know as more developments occur, and we'll schedule press briefings as necessary and regularly in the interest of transparency. So, okay. Thank you all.